All right, so this video hopefully is going to help some of you guys out on how to do a proper swap of seats on your Toyota Hilux Surf. In this particular case, this Hilux of mine came from Japan. This is a 1997 example of a Toyota Hilux. In other words, a third generation Hilux, third generation forerunner for United States. And the swap that we are going to be doing is it's coming from a Lexus RC350. Yep, 350. That's the specifics of the 350. That's those lines. F Sport, I believe, is the model. F Sport RC350. Great seats. I mean, I love these seats in comparison with the original seats with the cover. These seats are beautiful. Welcome to 2017. You know, all the gadgets and the heated seat and all that kind of stuff. You're going to be doing all that. But for this particular video, we're going to be discussing removal of the original seats, you know, buying off of a junkyard pair of seats that we're going to be removing the brackets off just to keep it original, just like I did here, marking it, welding it, and making sure that, you know, to keep it as original as possible and making it a bolt-on swap. So in the event that you guys decide to in the future to sell your vehicle, you can always go back to original for those original freak guys out there. Okay, I'm not an original freak guy. I'm all about, you know, making my truck better as technology comes through, and that's what we're gonna do today. It's just going to take the original seats out because they're in really good condition, by the way, and then swap them out with something more comfortable, something more aesthetically beautiful, and something that matches what I want to do with the truck, which is an upgrade and comfortability and overall looks on my truck. Okay, step one will be removing the seats. Now, I already removed these seats. You know, I got requested this video by a member of our community on Facebook, and I'm pretty much, what I'm doing is just try to like go back in time and try to explain, you know, as quick and as easy as possible on some things that you just got to do. The tools for this removal is simple. It's just a flat screwdriver, about 6 inches drive, 14 socket metric 14. I like to use the impact stuff and a good DeWalt impact driver, 1/2 inch, just because it has some pep. I don't have to ratchet my way into hell. It's just quick out. Okay, so screwdriver. Why screwdriver? Well, screwdriver, especially this little sucker right here, the rear inner cover is a pain in the ass, and I just go in and pry it out. Most of them just come out with your hand, but this little shit right here is just a pain in the ass. Take them out and then ratchet yourself away. And I like to save the bolts. You know, I don't know if it is something in my head, but I just like to save those bolts, especially bolts that attach to the body. They're just great bolts, good strength on them. Clean them up and reuse them somewhere else. Okay, so now that you take them out, this is what you're gonna wind up having. It's a seat that you just took out. And a quick explanation of the seat itself. You have, in the American version, it's funny to watch because in the American version, you're gonna have the safety features that are mandated to Japan and to Toyota to be able to import these vehicles even back then. For example, the safety mechanism for your seatbelt, you know, that constant nuance of, you know, noise if you don't click your seatbelt. I don't know if this is just a plug. So, but in essence, outside of that, it's pretty much the same seat. Another difference here is, you know, I think that the location of the swing bracket it might be different. Either way, my point here is the rails. That mechanism rarely changed. It doesn't matter if it's electric and new or old. It's about the same concept, right? You're gonna have the main rail, right? That's the one that the inner rail is gonna flow through, and either mechanically or electrically via motors, that inner rail is gonna float forward or back or move forward or back to adjust your seat. And then you're going to have other mechanisms in the new stuff which allow your seat to go up, down, and take multiple different positions for your comfort. But in this case, what we got to focus on is the brackets where they at and why does it matter. Okay, so the brackets that we're going to be reusing are these brackets. It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, so one per corner. And what you're going to be focusing on is removing with a drill bit. You're going to be removing two things. You're going to be removing, let me get positioning here on the ground. You're going to be removing that hot rivet. It's called a hot rivet because they literally in factory, while they're assembling this, they get this rivet in there really hot and they just press it. They got 1 and 2. However, in all seats, they're also welded. So you have a weld spot there, and you're gonna notice the weld spot by just a shallow, shiny spot. If you put some water in it or saliva like me, like dirty ass me, you can see there is a divot in there, and that's a weld spot. You gotta drill those out. Okay, perfect example is the first seat that I took off. You can see where I drill. 3 spots down here, 2 spots down here, 2 spots down here. Bracket comes off, and then we're gonna use those brackets like the ones that because you have to do the same to the RC350s. You gotta drill the rivets out. Now, in the modern seat, you're gonna notice that the RC350 Lexus seats, the brackets are not welded. They just have that hot rivet that gets pressed against it, and that's how they hold these suckers in place. You can see some of the marking when I drill them out. And when I drill, I use my drill. No sponsoring on that one. That's why I don't care about the brand. I'm not mentioning the brand. But when I'm drilling, I use a thinner drill to just go as deep as I can, and then I go with a thicker one to cause the separation. Back to the beginning. And actually not the beginning, but you know what I mean, like the actual seat. What I did here, and the way you gotta do and go by doing this is literally, you must install the brackets that you took off of your original, and I cleaned them up, painted them, and whatnot, and then they're gonna get scraped and you gotta paint them again. But either way, I took them off, cleaned them up. If they had any rust whatsoever, cleaned them back to metal, shiny metal, primed them, painted them. And but the important part here is that you install the brackets. And when you're installing the front and back brackets, make sure that they are aligned perfectly. And you can do that with a ruler, with a straight ruler. Align them up side to side and at the top. You can always bend them a little bit when you're finally installing, just to get the holes, to align. But you want to do this at the beginning the best you can, so everything's gonna fall where it belongs, right? Second thing, when you have all 4 installed and aligned, and you feel like, yep, they're like they're supposed to be, put the seat that you want to install, and like you can see, I haven't welded these ones yet, and get them aligned in the front as they're supposed to. Okay, align them to the bottom rail. You know why we were discussing the bottom rails? Is because when you buy a seat, it might be a little bit moved forward or back. You never know how the actual junkyard took them off, or how did you take them off, and in what position was it when you took them off. You can see that in this case, there's about an inch forward of this seat, right? So don't pay attention to how the seat falls into your car. Pay attention to the rail. The rail is the important part. And what you want to do, in my experience, you want to align that rail with the bottom bracket perfectly, right? And what I do, I get markers like this market. In my case, I use the white one because this is black. But I get these markers from Milwaukee, not a sponsor. Milwaukee, listen, you may want to sponsor me because I go through these fuckers a lot. Align them, go down with one hand, hold it with one hand in the spot, and then mark them. You can see the marker. Let's see if I think you can see the markings that I did right there. You see that? And that is a positioning marking. It helps me position. There it is. There's the mark. So as you can see, this seat kind of moved back a little bit in this case. And therefore, the markings here, you can barely see it, but let me see if I can move it. There it is. There's the marking. And when you mark these things like that, what you're really doing is positioning the bracket, right? Marking the position of the bracket before you weld. So because you have to take the bracket off, again, you got to go back to the welding table. And now since you have the markings on where this bracket best fitted, you just got to take the bracket, put it in place, tack it, and then weld away. A technique that I use too, is more work, but trust me on this one. I do the outer ones first with the inner ones installed, but I don't mark the inners. I just position everything, mark the outers perfectly, weld them, come back with the seat, install the seat all the way down, and go inside and mark in the back and mark again. Then I take the seat out again, and that's why I use my impact gun, because it's easy. Take the seat out, take it back to the table, and weld away. If you do things in that process, you will be able to have a seat that when you install and when you bring it down, when you bring it down, the holes are going to match perfectly. And that's what you want. You want these holes to match. Now, yes, you can bend a little bit here and there just to be able to match it better if in case they rotate it or you weld it in a way that the metal kind of like flexed a bit. But what you want to do is to have it as close as to perfect as possible. And in my experience, this is how it works. Like, this is the best thing you can do. It's a little bit more work, but what you're going to have as a result and at the end is a seat that has original brackets to the truck. It looks great because it looks original. And it is a bolt-on, it becomes a bolt-on accessory, right? It's a bolt-on upgrade, which ultimately that's what you want. You want to have a bolt-on upgrade that you can always go back to original without, you know, messing your truck up and without doing crazy stuff that may devalue your vehicle at the end of the day. That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm gonna go to the table, I'm gonna do the weldings and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I mean, everything is explained. I don't think you need to see me welding. I don't need to. You need to see me installing the vehicle, the seats back into the vehicle. I mean, all this it's pretty much the same always. You just gotta learn how to weld and whatnot. But this is my process, and I hope you guys dig it. I hope you guys found it helpful. And if you did, look how beautiful the seats are. If you did, please subscribe. This is my first video. You know, it's gonna be clunky. Bear with me. I don't have a guy taking video of me. This is just me trying to do the best explanation and the best process sharing that I can. Subscribe, help me out. And if this channel becomes something that you guys like and it helps you out, I may be able to do more videos for you guys as I go building my truck up, show you all the things that I have done and I had to do. See you guys later. Like the video, subscribe. Thank you so much. Well, after welding, you know, marking, welding, installing, the seat is pretty much done. I mean, I cleaned the seat, treated it, you know, a little bit of Armor All, good old Armor All. I know it's leather, but Armor All does really good all the way around. Here are the spots. You can't see them because, like I said, I welded exactly where I actually did the holes. I think you can see some of that, right there, and right there. And it's extremely strong, guys. It's same here. I welded exactly where I drilled the holes. Plus, I add a few tacks outside. But in essence, you can see it. I don't know if you guys can see back there and way deep in there. But the seat is not going anywhere. I mean, this is solid. I ran the welding a little bit hot just to go get good penetration. You know, like, you don't want to fuck with this. There's something you don't want to mess with. My dad used to say, don't fuck with the brakes. Don't fuck with never cheap out on brakes, never cheap out on suspension, and never fuck with anything that can kill you or save your life. So, you know, I ran a little bit hot on my welds just to get good penetration. The thing is solid. I trust my welds. I mean, I've been welding for almost 15 years, but this thing is good to go. Now it's time for the other side. So this is the quick makeshift setup I'm doing. It's pretty much like using, you know, welding cloth and just wrapping around the seat, because sure shit you don't want, you know, the little sparks and little, although I run hot and 100%, I use 100% argon on everything. It's expensive, but and some might call it overkill, but you know what? The welds come out great. You know, no oxidation, none of that shit. So I've been using 100% since I normally TIG, not done MIG. You know, I just swap the gas and fuck it. But anyway, this is what I do. I just run around, use some duct tape, you know, and I'm sadly I can't weld and hold the fucking phone at the same time. But you'll see what I mean. You know, you'll see the markings and whatnot. You can tell here's the open space where one part goes. Here's the corner where the other one goes. Everything else is going to get primed and painted, but here we go. Start welding, but before I show you guys, I want to make sure that I take a note on something. Seats, you know, when they're taken out and whatnot, sometimes they go through like spillage or whatever, and they start showing a little bit of rust and whatnot. As you can see, I already treated some, but there's still some places where there is a little bit of flash rust, like right there in this corner, boop boop, and right deep in there. And guys, treating it hurts nothing. Not treating it hurts everything. Okay, so go yourself, grab yourself into your nearest auto part, grab your bottle of rust converter. You know, I use the brushable one because it's just that good. This one right here. You can barely see the damn freaking brand, but you know, that's what you get in, you know, places like AutoZone and whatnot. Great product, always use it. I just go trying to find any rust spots and just, if it has like, oh, here's a spot, there's a little spot there. If it's something like it actually has more than just flash rust, I'll sand it down a little bit and then go with this on top of it, and maybe even some paint. But since this is not gonna see any weather anymore, hopefully, or any spillage, just converting it and seal it with this product, because this product literally just converts it and seals it behind it, so it's really good. Should be good enough. Anyway, so here are the welds on this side. Since this corner, I decided to run, welding around the corner, and then filled the 3 holes that I drilled when the brackets was coming out, just because, you know, if I leave the holes, it will be weak, and you don't want that. So I completely reinforced that part right there. Meanwhile, here I went a little bit easier. The main hole, I used the hole as a tack, then I tack right here and I tack underneath. You can see a little bit of the penetration under the paint. So 1, 2, 3 tacks, that's good enough. On this side, same thing. I used both holes as welding points, and on this one I used the main hole, and then this one right here I filled it up really good, and I gave it a quick tack on top, and we are good to go. Now it's time for install, and here it is. I cleaned up this mammal to the seats, cleaned them up, you know, detailed them, but in essence, like I said, if you follow the steps, there is no messing around, guys. These things fall right on the money every time. You know, be patient. Don't. This is not a race, honestly. You know, I know it's a pain in the butt to, go through this process, but look, on the money every time, no jokes. I'm going to install the little covers for the mounting brackets, which I also painted in black just to match the seats. That's it. That's all I got. I hope you guys enjoy it, learn something, put it into practice, and if it worked for you, this process, let me know in the comments. Thank you.